Oscar Piastri experienced a challenging and somewhat perplexing race at the British Grand Prix in Silverstone. While his on-track performance was competitive, several moments during the event, particularly around the safety car restart, have raised broader questions within the Formula One community. The race itself featured typical British weather, moving between dry and wet conditions. Drivers started on intermediate tyres, navigated through a rain shower, and eventually returned to slicks by the finish. Among the many developments, a key incident occurred during the restart on lap 18. Piastri, who had taken an early lead, was required to rebuild a gap to Max Verstappen and Lando Norris after a safety car period. However, his actions during the restart, specifically a sudden and heavy braking maneuver, prompted concerns. After accelerating, Piastri appeared to brake sharply and unpredictably. This caused confusion behind him, nearly resulting in contact with Verstappen, who subsequently lost control and spun shortly after. Although Verstappen's spin was not directly blamed on Piastri, the incident was deemed significant enough to warrant investigation. Following a review, the stewards handed Piastri a 10-second time penalty for driving in a manner deemed unsafe under safety car regulations. According to FIA Sporting Regulation Article 55.15, drivers must not engage in erratic or dangerous maneuvers once the safety car lights are turned off. The data showed a sharp deceleration from 218 km per hour to 52 km per hour and a brake pressure of 60 pounds per square inch, which the FIA determined to be inconsistent with safe restart conduct. The penalty had major implications for the outcome. With Norris close behind and time running out, Piastri's lead was nullified and he finished second. While some might have expected him to accept the decision and focus on recovery, Piastri expressed frustration over team radio, suggesting that if the team also viewed the penalty as unjust, they should consider swapping positions with Norris and racing to the finish. This message sparked debate. Norris, driving for a British team at his home Grand Prix, had a strong lead and had shown consistent pace. From a team and strategic perspective, a position swap at that stage, especially based on an external penalty decision, was unlikely. In the end, no change occurred, and Norris went on to secure victory. Post-race, Piastri maintained that his driving was consistent with previous laps under the safety car, stating, "I'm not going to say much, I'll get myself in trouble. Apparently, you're not allowed to brake behind the safety car anymore." However, the FIA's decision, supported by telemetry, suggested otherwise, and Piastri also received 2 penalty points on his super license. The broader implications of this episode extend beyond one race. As McLaren's 2 drivers continue to fight at the front of the field, internal dynamics may become more complex. Lando Norris has been in strong form, winning back-to-back races, while Piastri, despite showing impressive speed, has struggled to match his teammates' results in recent events. With Max Verstappen's Red Bull currently trailing in performance and Ferrari showing signs of progress, McLaren appears well positioned to contest both the Drivers' and Constructors' Championships. The key challenge may not be external rivals, but rather how Norris and Piastri navigate their intra-team battle. Norris seems to be capitalising on recent momentum, while Piastri now faces the task of regaining consistency and composure under pressure. How McLaren manages this internal rivalry, both on and off track, could play a defining role in the outcome of this season. Throughout his career, Oscar Piastri has occasionally faced criticism for struggling under pressure, especially during pivotal moments. Last season, it was Lando Norris who carried much of the weight in McLaren's title chase against Max Verstappen, albeit not without errors of his own. This year, however, the expectations have shifted. With both McLaren drivers operating at a high level, internal competition has intensified. Often, the most challenging opponent is the one in the neighbouring garage. In recent races, Norris has displayed a strong run of form, giving him an edge and shifting momentum in his favour. That said, the championship battle is far from settled. With Red Bull and Verstappen appearing less dominant than in past seasons, possibly even eyeing an early pivot toward 2026, McLaren's duo may now be the only real contenders capable of keeping the season competitive. McLaren's approach appears consistent: allow both drivers to compete freely without imposing team orders, as seen in Silverstone. However, Piastri's radio message following his 10-second penalty sparked debate. While it's possible he believed the circumstances warranted a fairer review, or perhaps even a late race chance to fight for position, Norris had already built a 5-second lead by that stage. the team likely saw little reason to disrupt a stable 1-2 finish at the British Grand Prix. It's worth remembering that in previous races, like the 2024 Hungarian Grand Prix, strategic missteps arguably cost Piastri a better result. But in this case, McLaren's decisions regarding tyre strategy, choosing not to switch to slicks early, unlike Sainz, Russell or Hadjar, ultimately worked in their favour. With Hungary and Spa approaching, the fight between Piastri and Norris will only become more intense. The current gap in the standings is slim, and in such closely matched circumstances, every point and every decision carries weight. McLaren will no doubt be cautious to avoid internal clashes reminiscent of the infamous 2016 Mercedes incident in Barcelona. As both drivers continue to push the limits, the potential for conflict increases, especially if frustration builds. That said, Piastri may use the outcome in Silverstone as motivation heading into the next rounds, eager to respond with a strong performance. So, what do you make of Piastri's frustration following the British Grand Prix? Do you believe his penalty was unjustified, or was it a fair consequence based on the FIA's regulations? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you haven't already, check out the next video appearing on your screen.